Ladies and gentlemen, you have something special. You have greatness in you. And I have a special guest, and she's got greatness in her and all over her. It's been a long time friend of mine, Norma Hollis, extraordinaire. And the reason I say that, she has a lot of talent, abilities, and skills, always committed to empowering people and doing events that help people to get an expanded vision of themselves, how to begin to use message and their voice and their story to transform others, and how to develop an entrepreneurial mindset of being creative and innovative in this place, the Corona place. Hello, Norma Hollis. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Les Brown. It's good to see you and be in your energy again. How are you doing?
I'm blessed to be in your presence, and you just look like fresh money up in here, up in here.
And you look like a young man with your new hairstyle. I like it.
Thank you. I'm kid and play, and I'm kid.
You are a kid.
I want to ask you now, you have several books. How many books do you have?
Well, I have 3 published books and then I have about another dozen that I use in my program. I have an online school, you know. So I took all my books and put them as classes on my online school.
How can people find your online school?
AuthenticityU.com. And that can be a authenticity with a capital U, with a U, or authenticity YOU. Whatever comes to your mind, it'll take you to the same place. Because it's all about being authentic.
And the title of the 2 most important ones to you?
The 2 most important classes?
Yes, the classes and the books.
Oh, well, the books are the 2 that you're seeing. This was my first book. You know, I used to own a Speakers Bureau when we first met, first Black woman to own a bureau for Black speakers. And I wrote this book, which has been the Bible for some people who teach speakers, because it really takes you to A through Z to what it takes to become a professional speaker. And then this one is my first book based on my program. Oops. This is the book I wrote based on my program on authenticity. This is based on 30 years of research. And this is the overview of my findings, and the school and the work that I do are the details. But this is the overview. And both of them are available on normahollis.com.
All right. So what are you doing now? You have something that's coming up, an event.
I do. Well, you know, I train and certify people to deliver my program as speakers or coaches. And I've done it all across the United States. I've done it in China. I've done it in a number of places, but I can't do it live anymore. So I'm doing it now online. And when I do my programs, I introduce speakers. I have 9 speakers for my events, each one talking about a different part of my authenticity process so that people can become more authentic themselves. The one that I'm doing next week, I'm aligning authenticity with your superpowers, because we all have superpowers and we need them in this Coronaland, however you called it. You gave it a new name, and that's exactly what it is. But through the events, we take my assessment, which helps you identify where your strengths are. I really call my assessment a superpower assessment. So by taking the assessment, you identify the areas of your energy of your superpower, and you'll hear how other people have found their superpower and how they use it as a way to inspire you to use yours.
How did you come up with the concept?
Well, you know, authenticity was a coach that told me about 20 years ago that my work was about authenticity. I just kind of followed my spirit, my voice, and just create. I was actually trying to figure myself out. I was 28 years old and in a marriage and done all the right things that I was told to do, and was miserable and didn't know what to do next. I didn't know who I was, but I didn't know it would take me 30 years to figure it out. But in so doing, I created a wonderful system that helps other people understand themselves. And you know, Les, have you ever considered that there's no way and nowhere in the planet that people teach self-awareness? We go to school to learn how to get a job, and we go to church to learn a religion, but we never go anywhere to learn who we are. And so that's the gap that I feel in society, teaching people who they are, teaching them their power, their gifts and talents, teaching them to be authentic.
And when you think about the fact that, you know, it was Viktor Frankl in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he says that adversity introduces a man or woman to themselves. Given the place where we are now, the crises, the confusion, the fear, the hopelessness, the anxiety that people are going through now, how will your event and the training that you do help them?
Well, it gives people a lot of calm, confidence, and courage, and confirmation of their next steps. Because the confusion comes because life's been turned upside down. But the truth is, if you know your authentic self, if you know your superpowers, you put them in play in spite of what's going on. Because your superpowers, your gifts and talents, the piece of you that's uniquely authentic, is what was given to you at the time of your birth for you to survive this interesting planet. So when you put that into action, into power, it makes all the difference in the world.
You made a very good point that we we go to school and we are filled up with facts and figures, and we find out things about history in the world, and we go to church and we study religion, but we don't go anywhere that give us an opportunity to study ourselves. Nancy Wilson had a song called "I've Never Been to Me," and that is most people. They've never been connected with themselves. They don't know themselves. And that has been a passion of yours, helping people to develop self-awareness.
Yes.
And self-approval, which empowers them to navigate whatever life throws at them.
Whatever life throws, you can find your way through. You know, it may not be easy, but you have a path, because your path is grounded in the gifts and talents that's authentically you. All you have to do is activate them and know how to activate them. So that's what I help people to do, to recognize that these are your gifts. Here they are. Now, how are you using them? So how can you modify? I encourage people to find one thing to tweak. Just tweak one thing in your life, one thing at a time. Try it out for 30 to 90 days and just see how that changes your life. And then if it works, tweak something else. Because you can't just change everything in one fell swoop, but change and transformation takes place one step at a time. So what my system does, it helps you to figure out where you need to make that tweak and where your strengths are that you can rely on to take you past that tweak and move you beyond.
When you think about defining moments in your life, what's the one thing that allowed you to say, you know what, this is not me?
This what?
This is not me. I've got to change this. And what did you do?
Well, that was, I think the most important one was when I was 28 and I was married to someone I should never have been married to. And we had a business together. And with my desire, I write programs for human development. And in that time of my life, I was writing programs for preschool children. That was my degree. And I wrote programs to help more moderate and influential parents recognize the challenges that their young preschool children might have to move forward in life. And my husband at the time, we were in business together, he saw himself as the new child care king in Detroit, Michigan. So we had different objectives, and it didn't really come together. And I didn't quite understand it because I was still very young and naive and very idealistic. I'm still pretty idealistic, but I was naively idealistic at that time. So I didn't understand the difference, didn't understand really how life worked, but I knew that marriage didn't work and I needed to make a change. So that change has been coming more and more and more over time as I get deeper and deeper to understanding myself, understanding society, why it is like it is. And, you know, I call society sometimes a masquerade. And I have a poem that I've written about a masquerade. And actually I wrote when I was 28. And I've actually spent the time figuring out, how did we get this masquerade where everybody's playing another role and they're not being who they are, and people are like robots. And sure enough, right now, 30 plus years later, it's like robots. It's the same thing. So I try to robotize people and put the humanity back in them so they can really connect with who they are and who they're supposed to be.
George Benson had a very good song called "The Masquerade." Yes. In helping people to become authentic, live their authentic life, what's the number one block from your perspective that prevent most people from doing that? Because I remember a book I read called "Why I'm Afraid to Tell You Who I Am," because you might not like me, and that's all I've got.
Well, you know, from the time that we're preschoolers, we get put on a path that society dictates for us to be on. When we're very young, we come to the planet very clear of who we are. If we are singers, we sing. We sing loudly. We talk a lot. If we like music, we're beating something or making noise. That's who we are. If we like to run, we're moving around and we're athletic. But our parents undoubtedly at some point tell us, you're too loud. Don't sing so long. Don't talk so much. Don't make so much noise. And we continue to cower back and appease society, appease our parents. And then we find ourselves appeasing society. And before long, we forgot who we are. I talk a lot about how when you're in preschool, you get to school and your teacher tells you, so good to see you. Go find where you want to play and go to the bathroom. Whenever you need to go to the bathroom, please go. And then kindergarten and first grade, it's to sit still, raise your hand to move, and you don't move beyond that. And people stay in those cubicles their whole life without realizing there's more to life than a cubicle. And so that's the pattern that so many of us follow. And it makes it hard to get past that because we get on autopilot doing what society tells us to do and forgetting that we really have an authentic self within us if we just find it and tap into it.
Your event, where is it taking place? And how do people get in touch with you?
I'm sorry?
Your event, where is it taking place and how do people get in touch with you? How can they register for your event?
The event will be online. It is Saturday, July 25th at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And you can register at tickettojoy.com. Tickettojoy.com.
Ticket to Joy. And let's say 3 things that people can expect to walk away from this experience that you're creating for them, this virtual immersion that's taking place. You are very creative.
I am. 3 things you'll take away is 1, you'll know where your strengths are in terms of your superpower. I'm building this one as finding your superpower because what I realize in this round of where I am in my life and my authenticity is that your authentic self is a clear indication of what is the superpower that you're born with that will take you to your next level. So number 1, you will identify that. Number 2, you will identify one thing you want to tweak in your life to change your life. So where your shortcomings may lie, where your gaps lie, and you'll figure out one thing you can do in that area of gap to just do something a little bit differently to create some different results. And the third thing you'll get is you'll leave inspired and encouraged because you're going to hear 9 speakers tell their challenges and how they have used their superpower to get past the challenges that they've gone through in life. So you'll leave a different person. I'm a transformational speaker and coach, and we will transform you in the 2.5 hours that you'll be with us.
How can they get their tickets?
Oh, the tickets are just go to Ticket to Joy, tickettojoy.com. And if you, it's a $20 fee, which is for the nonprofit, but I also give you the link that you can register for free. Whichever you want to do, I just want you on the call because I'm also introducing speakers who are being certified to teach this. My goal is to have this system that has transformed through me delivered in multiple places across the world. I even have a young lady I met in China 2 years ago who's 23 years old and moved from China to be in the United States to go to grad school all by herself. And she will inspire you with her story about how she's surviving in this totally different environment, being away from China. And she's a future world leader, a very powerful young lady. So I have a number of people from different backgrounds, someone as young as 23, someone as old as 78, but they each have phenomenal stories to share with you.
Listen, you've been a transformational speaker and trainer and a great dancer as well.
Yes, you're right. I still love to dance. Absolutely. Never could teach you to do it a little bit, but I would like to do that.
Well, yeah, she can bust a move, ladies and gentlemen. Let the record show. Thank you. It's been a long time. I love you. I appreciate you and I admire you for the great work that you've been doing. And I encourage all of you, you're ready for your life to be transformed. If you're ready to discover that part of yourself that you don't know right now, sometimes we have to have people in our lives that can take us to a place in ourselves that we cannot go by ourselves because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And I would say Dr. Norma Hollis, my very good friend and transformational specialist, has the master key in unlocking that part of yourself that's so important, that gives you what Elizabeth Browning called the imprisoned splendor to be released, but she gives you the opportunity to connect with your superpower. That's what we're talking about up in here. Once again, give where they can give. They get their tickets, please.
Ticket to Joy. And I guarantee you'll find the joy. Tickettojoy.com. Thank you, Les.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And
Thank you so much, those of you that are watching. Ticket to Joy. It's something that will transform your life and allow you to begin to soar to new heights. I highly encourage you to attend. Thank you so much for watching us. Take care.